Hey there. Today we're going to be having a look at this pen. This is a Pelikan, but this is a very special one. This is their Souverän M800 40 years anniversary. So for the 40th anniversary of the Souverän model, Pelikan came up with this. There's a lot to talk about in this pen, so I'll cover the parts of the pen, I'll do a writing sample, I'll tell you what I like about it and what I don't like about it. Let's get started. Oh, and by the way, this very expensive pen was lent to me by Souverän, so thank you very much. Don't forget that friend gives you a 10% discount there. An expensive pen, that can be kind of interesting. So, there you have it. Let's get started. Okay, so I'm sorry about the cables, but this Pelikan comes in a massive box it's very difficult to show off. That was just the cardboard outer sleeve. You have this very attractive thing. So does it make sense what I said about these cables? What I meant was I had to zoom out quite a bit. Otherwise you can't see the whole box. That was all. Okay, then you take off this piece and then the whole thing kind of opens up like that. That's kind of the gimmick. And then you have in here a bottle of ink, limited edition 4001 dark green. I will not show you that ink. I hope you'll understand, but I mean this pen is only on loan, and whoever purchases this should of course have the pleasure of opening that bottle for the first time. Excuse me. Now I'm putting this out of the way. Sorry, that took me a second. And I'm grabbing the Metropolitan that I forgot about. I will now zoom in, and now we can actually talk about the pen. So here we have this Pelikan next to a Metropolitan. As you can see, it's a bit girthier, but it's approximately the same length. Now, what makes this pen special? It's the M800 40 years anniversary. Souverän only sells it in a medium 18 karat gold nib. I assume they only come in medium nib. And there is a whole bit of marketing about this, right? There is the virtue of permanence, and that is reflected in these stripes that have been part of the Souverän pens for such a long time. This particular model is limited to 888 pieces. The number 8 in Asian cultures is known as a harbinger of prosperity. So you have that, and then you have something that you would not find on a traditional M800, and that is of course this gold ring in the middle. There's gold plating all over. There is a gold plated piston turning knob, as well as a gold plated section. Now there is always some concern with these things about how long will that gold plating last, especially when you continuously dip it in ink, but I can't evaluate that. I can't keep this pen for years, so we'll have to make do with what we've got. On top here we have the Pelikan logo. There are strange black stripes in that. That is just the legs of my tripod. I'm sorry. And here we have the Pelikan feeding its baby chick. I guess chick is just by necessity babe. Anyway, so we have that. We have the stylized Pelikan bill. So we're moving on to the clip now, right? You have the eyes, the head of the Pelikan, and then its bill. Quite nice. The logo and that kind of stuff that has changed a little bit over the years, but it's been there for a very long time. We have this center band which says Pelikan 40 years of Souverän. Then we have green and black stripes, which is interesting. This is not green stripes and then translucent stripes. It's actually green and black stripes, which makes the pen not translucent. I'll come back to that in a second. We have a gold ring in the center here with diamond cut ribs. Don't know if you can hear that, but it's there. And sorry, this logo, I'm not sure if I said that, but it's actually also the finial on top. It is actually lacquered. We have at the bottom the piston turning knob. I really need to move up. I'm so sorry. We have a number. This is 814 out of 888 pens. The section unscrews. I'm going to be very careful here, given that it's not my pen. It does posts, and you have a nicely sized pen. One of the big advantages of the M800 is that it seems to be a size that works for many people. A little bigger, not as big as an M1000, comfortable to many. People just like that. We have this nice engraving, 40 years on the nib. I'll make sure there's a close-up on the website. Has a little pelican and baby engraving. I didn't say chick this time. Baby pelican engraving. 18 karat 750. That's the gold content. And then we have M for medium. Note the gold-plated section. And that can trap a bit of ink. See that right there? Can trap a little bit of ink. That's it. Now, the final thing you want to know is how much? 1,595 euros. That's about 1,750 US. So it's just a tad more expensive than a regular M800. Okay, let's do some writing. Bear in mind, I'm writing on the back of this notebook. That always makes things sound a bit scratchier than they are. We have the Pelikan M800. I'm just going to put in 40 years. It is a medium nib in 18K, and this is Delft's Blauw by Ackerman, a washable ink. Sorry, Joost, I didn't mean to do something from the competitor, but I wanted something completely washable because this is a very expensive pen that needs to go back into the market. Okay, we noticed a bit of a skip there. I noticed it. I bet you noticed it. Very smooth nib. Really pleasant to use. But with that initial hard start, makes me wonder if this may be a little bit over polished. We can do a simple test of that later. This is Rhodia paper. It is a coated paper. I have felt that coating can bring out skipping a little bit more. On other paper, it seems to have done well. This is my favorite test for hard starts. Little pressure as you can, and as you can see, it actually does start up most of the time. So may have dried out a little bit as I was talking. Again, in normal writing, I haven't really had any issues with it. Line variation, wetness, nicely balanced. This is a somewhat drier ink, by the way. Line variation, I know this is flowing over into another writing sample, but that's okay. It's not a flex nib, and it's not advertised as such, and given that this is very expensive and not mine, I'm not going to push it. For those who enjoy, another hard start, for those who enjoy such a thing, reverse writing is possible and turns this medium into, I would say, an extra fine. Okay, fascinating pen, a lot of stuff to talk about, nicely made. I think what we need to do is discuss likes and dislikes. Let's do that next. What do I like, what do I not like about this special M800? Well, it is a beautiful pen. I do think the green stripes work very well. And I will say I find it very interesting that Pelikan chose to launch their M800 for this 40th anniversary and not an M1000. Having said that, I do think the M800 is a great model because it really works for a lot of people. I found that many people find that particular pen to be of a very comfortable size, and as a result, maybe that was part of their reasoning. The M1000 is really their flagship model, but it's also really quite large, so maybe that was part of the reasoning. And if you would launch that like this, it would probably be 2,500, 3,000 euro pen. Now, great size, works well, beautiful. These are all things I like. It's a Pelikan, they're nice writers. This pen is no exception in that regard. So, I mean, I do really like that. Are there, though, things I don't like so much? Well, yeah, absolutely. Let's start off with the obvious point. The pen is prohibitively expensive. I haven't checked what they go for in the North American market, but I did convert the euro price to a US dollar price. you're looking at something like 1750 US. I don't know if that's what it goes for in the United States, Canada, etc. But it's a lot of money. So that for sure may make this pen not so attractive to some people. I like the green stripes. The green stripes are classic. They are what I think of when I think of an M800 or an M1000, so that is a logical choice. The downside is that they chose this sort of green and black stripe, and as a result, I'm holding this pen to a window now, it's simply no longer translucent. I tried with different light sources, it's not translucent. The problem with that, with a piston filler, is that you have no idea how much ink you have left, and I think that is definitely a bit of an oversight in this particular design. I understand they may have wanted to go for the black because it makes for a very even black-green black. Like it looks good, but I don't think it's necessarily practical. So that translucency is, or lack thereof, I should say, to me is a bit of an issue. Having said that, it's certainly a heavier pen in this configuration. You really feel all that additional metal. I am not sure whether that is a like or dislike. For me, it's a like, but if you are used to regular M800s, you may be a little surprised at this. It is a bit heavier, so make sure that you are aware of that should you want to buy it. That, I think, is the main points. I mean, it's a nice writer. It's just very, very expensive. Oh, the final thing I wanted to point out, actually, as dislikes. I read this, I hadn't really noticed it, but I read this on the Pelikan's Perch review of this pen. Excellent review, by the way, very, very thorough. One issue that I have is, if you look at the pen uncapped, the gold, green, gold looks kind of balanced. But once the pen is capped, and the Pelikan's Perch was right in my mind, it's kind of off balance. The gold ring is not in the middle of the green anymore. So once capped, it looks a little off balance, I think. So just a thing. Again, that was not something I really noticed until I read it, but then I knew it and then I could no longer not see it. So anyway, there you have that. I hope this was helpful. Again, thank you to Joost Appelboom for lending me a very expensive pen. And that's all there's to it. I hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye-bye.